Donald Trump's State of the Union, or address to the joint session of Congress, was so stupid it was hard to unpack all of it in the hours after and even the days after. But there is one lie that Donald Trump told in his State of the Union about Elon Musk's work, if we can even call it that, at the Department of Government Efficiency that was really blowing up in his face. Because it reveals something that we continue to talk about on the show every single day, just how stupid these people are. The Control F, delete all government that Donald Trump is running, attacking waste that actually just ends up hurting us. And Rachel Maddow dropped the hammer on Trump after catching this lie, and we're going to get into it all. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already, you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really does mean a lot to me. Now, before we get into Rachel Maddow's call out, of course, but unfortunately, we have to hear the lie Trump told.
$8 million for making mice transgender. This is real.
The transphobia in the Trump administration is so bad, it somehow found its way to mice. We're talking about we're talking about mice here. Now, of course, this was a ridiculous statement, and Rachel Maddow will actually explain how unfounded this claim is. But it is important that we talk about this more broadly before we get to Rachel Maddow, and I want to do that super quickly. I have seen all these attacks on various elements of scientific research from MAGA and these massive cuts being made by Elon Musk saying, why do we need this study, or why are we spending money on that? And it reveals how fundamentally they don't understand science or expertise. We have to fund research that doesn't seem typical or specific, or like it means or can be understood without looking at the broader scheme. Sometimes studying things that feel odd or seem strange actually leads to the most important discoveries. It's the reason why we don't let RFK Jr. run HHS, but actual scientists who understand this and don't just attack the work that keeps us all healthy and safe. And on that, here's Rachel Maddow to call out Trump's stupid lie.
To protest against the Trump administration's indiscriminate cuts to science in all ways. You can see some of the signs here. Fight for science, defend the NIH, defunding research is a recession plan. That's actually quite true. Here's a good one. Quote, budget cuts create all kinds of trouble. I had to look that up. Alkynes, A-L-K-Y-N-E-S, alkynes are organic molecules made of the functional group carbon-carbon triple bonds. They are unsaturated hydrocarbons. And budget cuts create all kinds of trouble. Here's another good one in Pittsburgh. Got polio? No? Thanks, science. And you see where it says it's a Berg thing and the Salk vaccine there. The University of Pittsburgh is where Jonas Salk developed the polio vaccine. Across the state of Pennsylvania, outside City Hall in Philadelphia, look at this. This was this is impressive. This was the Stand Up for Science crowd outside Philly City Hall today. That's a big, look at that. That's a really big protest. Some good signs at the Philly protest as well. Your policy, defund the NIH, has been rejected by peer review. This is a good one. I feel like this one is special for Susan's birthday today. She loves Beaker from the Muppets. Susan, this happened in Philly today. This is the only orange Muppet I trust to tell me about science. Me. A version of this sign we saw a few different places today. I love trans mice. All right. I know you didn't listen to Trump's speech to Congress this week. I saw the numbers. It was the least watched Trump State of the Union or joint speech to Congress of all the ones he's given. So I know you didn't watch. But one of the things he said in his speech was that one of the terrible liberal things that his top campaign donor had discovered was happening in government was research to make mice transgender. And he said that in his speech, and all the Republicans gasped and laughed and jeered because that was so terrible. Actually, it's transgenic mice. And transgenic mice are used in all kinds of laboratory research because mice are transgenic when they have been genetically altered so you can study human illnesses and conditions in them even though they're mice. It is transgenic mice, you numbskulls. But sure, go ahead and shut down all the labs studying all the diseases, because what are you, 5?
Again, these people are dumb. They're dumb. They are just not smart. I am tired of acting like this is a legitimate government. It is not. It is not a legitimate government run by legitimate people who have any of our best interest in mind. It's not. These are a bunch of dummies who are breaking our government and only discovering how it works by breaking it. And then when they try to fix it, they realize that they also deleted the emails of the people responsible for fixing it or keeping it from being broken. They are stupid. Can I say it one more time? They are stupid. Plain stop. Donald Trump is not a genius businessman. Elon Musk is not operating and playing 4D chess. They are just people hacking away at something that they don't understand because they do not care about it and aren't worried about who will be hurt by their actions. Plain and simple. And it's the reason Donald Trump wouldn't talk about any of the cuts he was making in his State of the Union of the programs that matter most. But AOC certainly did in a call out right here.
Trump is coming for your Medicaid. MAGA Republicans are coming for your Medicaid. And the reason they are rattling off all of these things, because listen, where there is waste, we should address it. Where there is corruption, we should address it. Where there's fraud and abuse, we should address it. But don't you think that if you found a bunch of money in the couch cushions, that you would put that to expanding Medicaid, improving schools, fixing our roads, right? But that's not what they're planning on doing. The reason they're shaking all these couch cushions and the reason that they are rattling off all these numbers is because all those numbers they are trying to add up into one of the most massive tax cuts for billionaires and the 1%, probably in modern American history. And do not forget that. Don't forget that. It's not just about what Trump is saying. It's about the big, obvious things that he is ignoring, y'all, okay? Medicaid. Don't you find it interesting that he did not mention Medicaid once? Once? The largest source of health insurance, one of the largest insurers in the United States that impacts most Americans. And by the way, 30% of Medicaid money goes to Medicare recipients too. So he's doing that for a reason, because he's scared. If he was confident about his attacks on Medicaid, he would have said something, wouldn't he? He's confident about his attacks on immigrants. He's confident about his attacks on federal workers. He's confident about all those things. Why won't he own up and Republicans own up to their attacks on Medicaid? And if you are a Donald Trump supporter and you believe him when he says we're not going to touch Medicaid, why wouldn't he say that in his speech? I mean, it's one of the most vulnerable points that Republicans have right now is this attack on Medicaid. They know it's sinking them. In fact, the NRCC, this is an organization that's like kind of in charge of electing Republicans across the country. They came in this week and they told every Republican in the House of Representatives to stop doing town halls. To stop doing town halls. Why? Because they're getting too much heat over Medicaid. And personally, I think they're trying to bully Republicans to get in line to try to line up to vote to gut Medicaid. And so they want to extract Republicans out of their communities, out of their districts so they don't feel as connected, so they isolate them so they can be more easily manipulated and bullied into cutting Medicaid. And if Donald Trump were so proud about it, he would own it. And if it wasn't true, this is a massive political vulnerability. He could have ended tonight a lot of the speculation and a lot of the vulnerability that Republicans were experiencing right now if he went up on that podium and said, we're not going to touch Medicaid. But he didn't say that, did he? He didn't say that. Mark my words. They're coming after it. And all of that rattling off on Social Security and trying to frame Social Security as largely wasteful, this idea that there's like checks going out, tons of Social Security checks going out to dead people. No. Social Security monitors who passes away and processes who passes away. That doesn't mean they're cutting a check to people who pass away. And they are setting all of this up. They are trying to trick you. They're trying to trick your grandparents. They're trying to trick young people into thinking that it's all wasteful so that they can get away with cutting it to pieces. It's the same thing with Medicaid. Mike Johnson is going on television talking about how people who are on Medicaid are just all able-bodied 29-year-old young men who are playing video games. Medicaid, let me tell you all, Republicans have attacked Medicaid so often for decades that any little sliver of fat that you can possibly gut from it has largely all been trimmed away.
It is all about distraction for Donald Trump. He wants to distract you with the horse and pony or dog and pony or, I don't know, Elon and pony and RFK conspiracy. It's just he wants to distract you with all the nonsense. But what we have to pay attention to is what's happening behind the scenes, or really, honestly, in front of our faces, which is a government by the billionaires, for the billionaires, at your expense. That's the story every single day. We can be talking about Donald Trump lying about transgender mice. We can be talking about the Gulf of America. We can be talking about Elon doing a salute. All it is a distraction from the ultimate goal, which is to make the richest people, not just in our country, but in human history, even richer at the expense of me and of you. That's what we get to call out every single day, and that's what we're going to be talking about on this show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.